over time, pay careful attention to the length of notes at the beginning. Are those 30-second notes?
Right. Oh, it's quicker. Yes. You can see which one worked on
The other one, the beginning. Those are only 16ths. Good, better. Actually, let's stop for a minute. How did that go for you?
The ones I thought would go okay, went okay.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
I severely neglected two movements.
Yeah, it happens. There's a lot to cover in this, and it gets better every time you learn it. Is this the first time you've really dug into Beethoven 5 a lot?
I've done the scherzo and
Scherzo
trio,
trio,
but I think I worked too much on getting
Yeah,
back
yeah.
into that stuff and
Yeah,
forgot about the other two.
yeah. Let's concentrate on scherzo trio. I'll give you a couple things to think about in 2 and 4, and we'll keep going out of that. I would have liked. I mean, it's impossible starting that first time to just get it to sound like the 5th time you played it on and get it to really flow. I didn't double check what bowing you're using. Are you doing down?
I'm doing down all the way.
Yeah, that's how I like. Something I like to do the second time, you have it after the first reminder, go down, down, so that you're ready to play that torzata with the frog. On the next note, I play the C with 1, and then I shift to the up bow and the E flat. Down, and then change bow the way Beethoven says. Right? Yep. What happened last time is you telegraphed that that sforzando was coming a note too early. You went ba-da. Yeah. Ba. That sforzando's got to come out of nowhere. Good. I think in the trio you can get a little bit more sort of gorilla style and really yank the string a little bit more. Think more back and shoulders. If you're gonna go for the fast style, let me grab my bow real quick. You're going sort of for the faster feel, which is what I do as well, because you don't have to bounce it quite so hard. And on French, it's a really nasty stroke to bounce. Right, you're on, but you're looking for spring between the bow and the stick. There. A little bit more da-da-da-da-da-da. It's a legato stroke that's happening very quickly. Good. Move an inch closer to the bridge. Good. Just a hair more low. Good. Get into the string. Every down bow, pull the string. Yeah. That's it. Yep. Feel that difference? That's gonna, yes, exactly. That's gonna get more. Yep. And then as you go up the string, as you go up to that high G, crescendo up to the G. Yep. Exactly. And then let's talk.
I don't think I have enough rails into this one.
Me too. It's a real tough game between having too much on to play the scherzo and not having enough to play the trio. Yeah, it's hard. In buddy bee you were going buddy bee. Each one of those tied over half notes had a crescendo in it.
Okay.
I would think more bell tones. Bee. If anything, those half notes might taper a little. Yep, that's exactly. Piano was very good. And then, sorry, but just to run back to the scherzo real quick. A lot of these spots use those fermatas as real resting points.
Okay.
Ba-dee, da-dee, la-da, ya-da-dum, ba-ba-ba-bum, right? Those fermatas are real resting points, real cadences, in a movement that doesn't have a lot of cadences. So make the most out of what those fermatas are going to give you, right? Just jumping back to second movement real quick. It's a tempo game. I thought you could have played the first one quicker. That's the eventual goal. It doesn't have to be there right now. But given the fact that you then took the second one a little too quick, I think it's a just a mismatch on note length. So just be careful on that. You have room to play the overall tempo a little slower. This is the second movement. Da 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 da. You have a little more room to slow down those 30-second notes. I know it looks like a lot of bars and a lot of black, but it's not as quick as you think. Beethoven's famous for doing that. Good. And then fourth movement stuff. Be a little bit more solid in your rhythm coming off the ties. Right? The ties are jumped. It's a really, really common mistake. And then you've got more time in this melody than you need. It's really long, as long as you can play it, you know? Try that one more time from where it goes to the B flat. Almost every recording you're going to find, they're going to flip that bowing around and go beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up, right? Syncopated rhythms need energy and they need drive on the syncopated. Beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up, right? So that it's no doubt that you're syncopated. Beat up, beat up, yeah. Good. Other than that, it was very solid. All right. Does anybody else have comments?
I thought like the third movement, it just could have been a little slower because like not all the notes are coming through. I think that people are gonna listen to that more than they're gonna listen to how fast it is.
You mean the scherzo?
Like the trio.
Oh, the trio.
Yeah.
There's room to slow down the trio too.
Yeah, even like the scherzo, I think if you took it a little slower, it might help to like take a little bit more breath in between like phrases and stuff.
Right?
Oh yeah, I was just saying that kind of reminds me talking about speed. I don't know if you went to the solo class last night, but Mr. Reddish was saying like if the notes are too fast, then they really don't have any value. And he was saying like if you can't really hear the notes, then it's just like then it's not really musical basically. So then you can like sacrifice tempo for the clarity, and the clarity is definitely much better than like playing it faster than the person that just played.
One other thing that came to mind, in your fast trio stroke, you've got your bow and your first finger is kind of almost straight coming out the end. A little bit more engagement will give you more flexibility, which means you can yank that string a little bit more side to side with each stroke, ding dum 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 dum, so that there's a little bit of lag in the wrist and fingers, and they're acting as your shock absorbers, And if you're straight out, you're not flexing those fingers, so it's more brush and less of a legato stroke being played by a gorilla, which is what we're looking for. Yeah. Yeah, bingo. Yeah. Yes, a little closer to the bridge even. It's so much more projected, right? Yes, that's the ticket. All right, really, really good job.